Hello, it is so cool to talk to you today.
Oh my God, so fun to talk to you. How you doing? Oops.
I'm very good, thank you. I love the concept behind this film because it's part slasher, part drama, part, like even history. I'm curious for you, what was the hook that convinced you had to do it?
I kind of fell in love with Abby as a character and her arc and her strength and her resilience and bravery and all that. And I'd never really had a chance to play a character like that before. So yeah, I really wanted to figure out who she was and give it my all and do my best and try to portray her in a way that felt right, I guess. Yeah.
It's really a dark role. Like, I mean, there's a lot of like grueling moments for her. How do you balance that out when you're working on a character like this? How do you find that center, I guess, to go through all that?
Um, I don't know. I think like for what works for me is I kind of figure out a backstory for the character and do like my research and then we'll write it out in a journal and
Mm.
I figure out ways to kind of let go of it at the end of the day so I can go home and like have my bath and watch a little comedy to lighten the mood. But yeah, it's an interesting thing to do because in the moment when you're in the scene, I feel like your body doesn't understand that what you're going through isn't real, and it sometimes takes a sec to get yourself back out of it. But I felt very safe with my scene partners. They were all really lovely, and yeah, everybody on set was really lovely. So I think having an environment that feels safe is key. Um, yeah, and having your little daily comforts around you. My dog was with me. That helped a lot. Yeah.
That's
It's the
amazing.
best. Yeah, yeah. So just having like things to ground you after you go to darker places, I think is really important. Um, and dogs are the
What
best at that.
what do you think is central to acting in a film from this era? Because obviously it's a whole different perspective on life compared to what you might do in a modern drama.
Yeah, I don't know. I read a couple books. I read one on the history of Montana, and I cannot remember the name of it. And then I read this other book called Nothing to Tell, which was about a bunch of like it was just a bunch of interviews with Montana ranch women who had grown up in Montana on ranches between like the late 1800s, so a little bit after the movie takes place, and like the mid 1900s. So that was really interesting to kind of figure out what the mentality is in this part of the world and living this kind of lifestyle, and also kind of the history of the state. And yeah, just kind of I watched a bunch of YouTube videos about the Oregon Trail and about the Wild West and about pioneer, like all of that. So I kind of mapped it out in my head and tried to make sense of it and tried to see where how this character would fit into that world and where she would be at mentally given those circumstances. I don't know. I did my best. I don't like
Well, then the other side of it is locations. I'm sure that helps for the performance
Oh,
too.
of
But
course.
what were these locations like to act in and to then have these moments between shots? What was it like?
I mean, they're breathtakingly beautiful. Like we were surrounded by mountains and valleys, and there were deer everywhere. Like every time we would drive to set, you'd see like hundreds of deer and elk, right by Yellowstone National Park. So it was, yeah, the wildlife is beautiful, the scenery is beautiful. It was freezing. It was really, really cold,
Right.
but it was gorgeous. And yeah, that it like our the main set that we shot in is just this little western town that's been built for film, but in the middle of this valley, and there's nothing else as far as the eye can see around you. So that really kind of gets you feeling like you're truly isolated, and it just helps you get into that mindset, I guess. And obviously, yeah, like wardrobe and makeup and hair and yeah, I don't know. I feel like we were really lucky in terms of um being given everything we can be given in order to believe that we truly are in the story and that we are these characters in this time. And during this time period. Yeah, I don't know if that made sense.
Yeah, totally. Well,
okay.
the other thing is, I mean, I know that it had to be trickery, but the ice scene, I mean,
Yes.
Was it tough to film? I assume it wasn't actually out in cold ice, but was it still tough to film, I'm assuming?
So when you see Abby going into the frozen lake, that is actually filmed on the frozen lake with a stunt double. Like they had to get a professional diver to do that. I don't think I would have legally been allowed to be honest, because that would be so dangerous. The ice is so
Right.
thick, and there's, but she crushed it, and everybody like gave her a standing ovation when she got out of there. And I think it must have taken her forever to warm her body back up. But yeah, that was really impressive. And then I got to film the part of the scene where you actually see my head poking out of the water in a pool in Los Angeles. So that was a little bit easier for me.
It was great trickery though, because it looked so real. Like you're sitting there going, "Oh my god."
Yeah, they did such a good job. They like built this platform over the pool out of wood and then bought a bunch of like, I guess like snow cone ice and to make it look like snow around. I don't know. It was so impressive. And then I got to be in I wouldn't say warm, but a tepid pool, which is a lot better than a frozen lake, I would say.
Well, the role has a bit of demands for you in terms of, I would say, action. At least light action or something along those lines. What was all that like to film? Because it does seem to flex a different muscle for you, maybe compared to other roles.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the main action that I can think of that was actually a little bit exhausting was kind of right before that ice scene. I run away and we're like running through like really deep snow, and my wardrobe was quite heavy. So I truly, if I seemed winded in that scene, that wasn't put on. That was very real. But it was fun. It was such a fun scene because Michael Abbott, who plays the other character in that scene, and he just is amazing. I think he's such a talented actor, and he manages to play this kind of almost ridiculous character in such a funny, terrifying, and grounded way at the same time. I don't know how he does it, but yeah, that was definitely physically demanding. The rest of the time, I mean, there was horseback riding involved, but I'm really comfortable with horses, so that was nice. It was actually such a special treat to get to ride so much in the movie. Yeah. And then in those instances, I mean, I feel kind of bad for the horses. They were probably cold and um tired, although they didn't let it on. They were so sweet. They were so loving and affectionate and well behaved. They were the best horses I've ever met in my life.
Well, you also share a number of scenes with Clay Bennett. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yes. I
What
love
was he like to
Clay.
work with?
Oh my gosh, he's the best. He's so fun. He's so talented and so sweet, and yeah, we just had the best time. He really gave it his all. He was a super easy scene partner to work with, and yeah, I think that he really did a great job bringing his character Eric to life. Yeah, I have nothing but lovely things to say about Clay. He really is wonderful. And we just, have great conversations. And I genuinely loved everybody in this cast. Like we would hang out on the weekends. Like we went to Yellowstone National Park. We'd have dinner, we'd have drinks, whatever it was. And I think we all genuinely enjoyed each other's company. So we were really lucky. And Clay's obviously included in that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What would you say that you hope that when audiences sit down to watch this, what do you hope that they're taking away after they've seen the film and seen what Abigail goes through in this?
That's an interesting question. I haven't thought about before. I don't know. I hope that they're inspired, I guess, by her resilience and her bravery. I also hope that they have fun watching the movie. It is very heavy at times, but there are definitely some moments of levity as well. And you just have to again, especially with Michael's character, I think he's so great in the movie. Yeah, I just hope that they enjoy the film and that it sticks with them in some way. That's my favorite thing when I see a movie that I really like, I know that it's a good movie to me because I find myself thinking about it for days afterwards. So yeah, yes, I hope that it has some sort of positive impact on people. I don't really care about what the specific impact is, as long as it's somewhat positive, I guess.
Do you want to do more westerns? Is that there haven't been many in recent years? Is that something you'd like to do, or
Sure, yeah.
does it
I mean,
depend on the role more?
yeah, it depends. I guess it depends on the role. I'm pretty much open to any genre. I think if like, yeah, I enjoy most genres. It comes down more so to the specific story that you're telling, right? But yeah, I would definitely be open to doing more westerns. Why not? Ride more horses, wear
I
cool
was just gonna say you'll get to ride more horses.
yeah, yeah. And the wardrobe is really cool. Like that's so fun. And then they're typically shot in beautiful locations. So what's not to love?
Well, otherwise, what is there anything else coming up for you that you can talk about, or anything you can share that you're working on?
I'm back on. I worked on Riverdale for a few years, so I'm back this season, which is really
Amazing.
fun. And my first episode airs tomorrow. So
That's so cool. Well, I know fans will want to know about that, so that's great.
yeah, that's a lot of fun. I may be the most hated character on that show, but that's okay. It's all.
But it's so much fun to hate characters sometimes.
It is. And
especially when you know it comes from a place of the actor being so talented that's why you dislike the character, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's also fun to just kind of. I like to think that I'm not a mean person in real life, but I feel like we all have a little bit of darkness in us, and it's nice to have a healthy outlet for it. I'm like, oh, got that out of the way, like whatever that was built up in me, and I got to express it, and I don't have to face any repercussions for that. It's kind of great.
Anything you can share about what you did on this episode? Or anything fun that came out of it?
I mean, it was really fun to see everybody again. I hadn't seen them since the before COVID times, so that was fun. Yeah, in terms of, this season takes place in the 50s, so a little time travel moment. So it's like the wardrobe is really fun. The hair.
I was just gonna say, so more wardrobe then.
More ward. Oh yeah. And they crush it. They're so meticulous on that show. Like every single article of clothing is like perfectly tailored to your body, which is why everybody looks so good. It's all lies, but yeah, no, they do such a good job. They're so precise, and they really, really care about what they do. And so many of the pieces are custom made too. So it's so impressive. Like you'll go into a fitting, try on something that's half made, and then show up on set the next day, and whatever you tried on is like fully made, perfectly tailored to you. It's perfect. I don't know how they do it. It's magic. Yeah.
I'm sure it's the kind of thing where you hope that one gets to come home with you afterwards.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, this
pretty rare, right?
This is the last season, so I'm like, well, you don't need any of this anymore, do you? It's not going to fit anybody as well as it fits me.
That should be the selling point right there. It's like recycling.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm going to bring that up. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. It was a pleasure chatting with you. Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, it was so nice chatting with you too.
Have a wonderful day. Maybe I'll.
Thank you too.
It's funny
maybe
because
I'll run into you in Toronto.
I've seen your stuff for so many years, and I nothing has ever worked out where I interviewed you before. So it's cool to finally.
Oh my god! Yay! Well, that's so fun. I'm so glad that we got to meet, even though it's on Zoom. But hey, yeah.
Well, have a wonderful day. Thank you.